If you've ever bought or sold a home, you've heard the term closing costs thrown around fairly often, I'm sure. But what the heck are closing costs? And how much are they? Those are the questions I get asked most often. And in short, closing costs are the fees that you pay to either buy or sell a property. So there are closing costs for sellers in a transaction, and there are also closing costs for buyers in a transaction, and typically each party pays their own. Once in a while, you can negotiate for a seller to pay a portion of the buyer's closing costs, but in the market we've had in the last few years, we really haven't seen a whole lot of that. So today let's talk about sellers' closing costs. When you sell a home in the state of Minnesota, your closing costs will include typically the fee that you pay to your real estate agent, which is usually 5 to 7% of the sales price of the house, and then a handful of other fees. You will hire a title company to make sure that the deed is transferable to the new owner. That title company fee will be part of your closing costs, and it's usually somewhere between $400 and $500. The state of Minnesota charges a deed transfer tax to the seller, and that usually will be, depending on the sales price of the house, it can run, I've seen $1,000 to $3,000. It's based on a percentage of the sales price. The county you live in will also charge recording and service fees, usually totaling $150 to $200. You may owe some property taxes depending on the time of year that you close and how you usually pay your property taxes. And then last but not least, there will oftentimes, especially if you live in a homeowners association, be some fees that you'll pay to the HOA in order to transfer the documentation from you to the new owner. And typically that's also a charge to the seller. So those are the seller's closing fees. And tomorrow we'll go through what the buyer's closing fees are.